Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Not at all. How are things, Katie?
We're good. It's a little bit earlier here in Rhode Island, but I'm happy to be up with you guys this morning.
Are you still in Rhode Island? Lovely. Okay, so let's just start off and do the basics and tell us what Showfields is, where it is, what it does, how long it's been doing what it's doing.
Sure. So we launched in 2018, in December of 2018. So we're coming up on our 2 year anniversary of having the store open. We call ourselves the most interesting store in the world. And I promise it's not because we're interesting, but we broke the retail model and we now have a way of being able to showcase young and emerging brands and artists from all over the world. We have locations in New York and our second location opening in Miami in November. And for us, it's all about mixing art and retail. 50% of the store is experiential art where we commission pieces from artists from all over the world. And the other 50% of the store is all emerging brands and other new brand experiences. So every time you come into Showfields, you're meeting new things, discovering new things, and we're bringing back the fun in shopping.
So let's go pre-COVID first. Pre-COVID experience. Showfields New York is 5 floors.
It is 4 floors, yeah.
4 floors. Okay, so I walk in, and there's all DTC brands. The first 2 floors are something that approximate a department store, but kind of not. And then
Yeah.
and then there's a theatre floor on the next floor. Is that
Yeah, so we're 4 stories. When you come in, we're the only department store in the world that has an entire wellness floor to start instead of this idea of the beauty floor, right? For us, it's about redefining wellness. So we showcase everything from gluten-free, all natural medications to all natural and sustainable beauty products. Our second floor right now is all work from home tech and experiences for different artists around New York and things that are happening in New York. And then our third floor right now is fashion and design. And our fourth floor is a private members club with a roof deck overlooking NoHo. Last year, pre-COVID, we did over 150 events in the space.
okay? Okay, and so tell me, because lots of people talk about retail theatre, but Showfields is genuinely theatrical. Can you explain
Yeah.
how it is genuinely theatrical?
Sure. So I couldn't help but stay away from my theater degree, right? You
Yeah.
think that you're never going to use that in your professional career, but it turns out it came in handy for us. At different times, we have different curations, and at times we actually do have live theater performances. We had a performance called House of Showfields, which was our entire second floor, where you came down the slide, and all of a sudden you were in this world where you were standing outside of a house at night in a forest, and there was a woman standing there, and she was like, "Oh, how'd you get here? Can I help you?" And she immediately starts being like, "I'm so happy you're here. Like, here, let me try all these products on you." And it was just a different way to break the fourth wall between the consumer and the person helping them to really have like an educated discussion about the products that are in the space. And it was really fun. I mean, when we launched it, we had 10,000 reservations within the first week, and people, really seemed to respond to it. But every time we're switching the curation. So every 6 months, our store becomes an entirely new store, an entirely new story, all new brands, all new art. In fact, I'm really excited that our Miami store is actually going to be the first retail store all around sustainability. So every piece of artwork, all the build outs, all the brands, it's all talking about sustainability. And for us, like, that's exciting. It's a topic right now that I think people want to, lean into, especially with everything happening around COVID and the election. And for us, we're creating a space where people can have that conversation in a meaningful way.
And so, getting the kind of breaking down the model. So all DTC brands, you curate a selection every 6 months. You retain a certain amount, and they're just the best performing ones, or just, I mean, what's the criteria for keeping, which
Yeah,
brands you
so
keep
for
in?
us, we call our customer the ultimate curator. I think that they end up actually telling us what they like and what they don't like. They vote with their pocketbook, we are constantly collecting data. So it's not just the number one performers in terms of sales. It's also who's driving interest and conversation. So we can track how many people are going into each of the small stores within Showfields, what they're looking at, what they're picking up. And, when we go to invite brands into the next curation, and 20% of the brands in any curation are invited into the next one, especially if they're relevant to the topic and the conversation that we're having. We're really looking at that. We're really looking at who's driving excitement with our customers. And that can be purchases, but it can also be photographs. It can be touching of products. It can be the amount of time spent in a space. And for us, at the end of the day, it's consumer commerce. So it is about redefining retail through the consumer's lens. And for us, that means that they get a say in what continues on into the next curations.
And you collect rent. You don't take a portion of the sales or anything. You're simply a kind of landlord, essentially. But then do you provide all the staff as well?
Yeah, so we are retail as a service. We really provide all the staff, all the inner workings of the store. We run that store. And for me, that was part of coming out of Warby and seeing how hard and challenging it actually is to open a store. I mean, Warby's been incredibly successful on the retail side. But, it required hiring another team, hiring creative directors, hiring merchandisers, hiring a store staff, running that store, covering things that we had never talked about previously, like insurance and events and driving traffic. And so we do all of those things. And we make it as easy for a brand to open a store as it is for them to open a website. And then we do all the day-to-day.
And is it true they're all actors?
We like a lot of actors. We call them storytellers. But for me, it's about we have an incredible store director, Shakib. And for us, it's about finding people that are passionate. And that can be passionate about music or theater, or it can be passionate about something completely random. But at the end of the day, the experience really comes down to the one-on-one interaction you have in the store. And that is a personal interaction. And that's kind of what changes and the difference between digital and physical. So for us, it's really hiring people that draw you in, that make you excited, and that are actually excited about all of these brands. At any given time, they have to know and understand 100 direct-to-consumer brands. They have to know the founder stories. They have to know all about the products. So we look for people that really enjoy learning those things.
See, when I read that, I pictured Joey Tribbiani with in a cowboy suit doing the spray.
Yes, and I would hire him in a minute. He would have been great.
It's not like that. Oh, so, so a very basic one. How much is Showfields about the customer, somebody walking in and then leaving with something in a carry bag they've actually paid for? Is that a small part, a medium-sized part, or a big part of the business?
I think it's a big part, right? I think shopping is something that inherently, when we were all growing up, was fun, and it was something that you went and did. And I think part of that was that you were going into a store and you had no idea what was going to be on the other side of that door. You were meeting new things. And you wanted to take a piece of that experience home. You wanted to buy that incredible pair of jeans that you found in the Levi's store and wear them to school on Monday and show them off to your friends. I think if we're doing a great job with storytelling, people should want to take a piece of the story home with them. And that is more what we're looking to do. It's not necessarily like, how do you get people to buy 30 different brands, but it's about how to create a meaningful experience for a customer where they not only leave with an item, but they leave with an item and that story. My favorite thing in the store is if I'm walking around and one person is there and someone else who they are meeting is showing up late, and they've been through a couple of the stories, met a few of the brands, and someone walks up and is like, "Oh, hey, Sally, so great to see you. What's this brand?" And they can turn around and be like, "Oh, this is the most interesting sustainable beauty brand. Did you know that they give a percentage of proceeds to She's the First, which helps women, get through high school all over the world?" And that's what we want. We want people leaving not only with the product, but with a love of that product and that brand.
And for the brands, so this is their first dip into retail, they're experimenting. I guess there's different motivations there for sales. They're there to test new product, get reaction to new products. They're there for customer acquisition. And you offer all kinds of whizzy data about, you have all kinds of clever sensors and stuff. So yeah, just the different motivations from the different brands, I suppose, if you could talk about that.
I think everybody has a different KPI when they come into Showfields, and that's what we build their space around. And some people, yes, are literally testing things as basic as trying to understand what the bestseller in their product lineup is, or how many SKUs lead to the most amount of sales for them, or what packaging performs better, what messaging performs better. And the best part about it is that we are able to facilitate these tests and allow people to understand their brand. I don't think physical retail is for every single brand in the world, but I think understanding whether or not physical retail is right for you in a space like Showfields is a lot less expensive and a lot easier to actually go through the iteration of testing. Each of our brands has an actual dashboard that looks similar to your Google Analytics dashboard, so that you can actually understand what's happening in your store, what's working, what's not. You can test content. And for me, that's the meaningful thing. I don't think everybody is going to leave or graduate out of Showfields and open 10 more department stores. But I think that some people will leave and say, it's great when we're launching a new product line to do a physical space within our target market. And we know that it will drive X number of social posts. It will drive, this amount of likes, views, and people touching the product. And for us, that's meaningful. We can now put a monetary spend against that.